All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, great people. You're tuning in to the Nah Stop Playing podcast. It's your boy Kwali, and I'm back with another serious topic. So, this is, episode 3 in a sense. I just got so many ideas in my mind. And when I sit here and brainstorm, throughout the day and the evening, I'm like, I definitely want to talk about this. I definitely want to talk about that. But, we gotta, I gotta make sure I get my thoughts in order because if I'm gonna keep it real and keep that, that real ish, I gotta make sure I'm coming with, that good, substance of information and, have my subjectivity on point, have my objectivity on point because it's real out here. So again, welcome back. If you haven't already, I'm on Spotify, check me out, hit that notification button and just follow my journey because again, I'm trying to, start a movement in a sense. I'm trying to, shed light on things that I think are super important. And some of these topics are, been talked about before and, are highlighted even more in society now that, with COVID and, social media being at the level that it's at, everybody's talking about some of the same topics. So yeah, but I just want to, bring my 3 cents to the table and put my spin on it, put my authenticity on it, and really just vibe and rock out like that. So you're probably wondering, well, actually, let me recap the last episode. Last episode, which was titled Group Economics. Reason why I did that episode was because it's something I'm very passionate about, right? You know, um, I'm self-proclaimed the financial advisor. Again, I don't have any certification. Well, outside of me being a licensed life insurance agent, a lot of things I've acquired over just trial and error, doing research, being in the right room at the right time with people who know more than I know, and I just disseminate information to individuals that I meet, and I give free game because, again, we're not taught this stuff in K through 12. A lot of this stuff we're not taught in college, so which again baffles me. But I really wanted to touch on the group economics piece because I feel like it's super important, but also, I wanted to shed some light on a topic in our community that I feel is swept under the rug. And there's going to be more episodes associated with that. That episode, it's kind of going to be like a series in a sense, a series talk or whatnot. And as I gather more and more information, I'm going to keep, producing that for you all because again, I feel like it's super important and it's things we need if we're really going to dig ourselves out of this hole that we've been put in by who, the colonizers. So, that's just a recap of what the last episode was about, group economics. So check that episode out. There's a lot of prudent information in there, some stuff you can utilize to kind of get the ball started. So yeah. All right. So as we shift, I had today's Monday, it's the 13th, it's 9:30 a.m. Again, I'm mountain kind of Pacific Standard Time. Because I'm in Arizona, we don't acknowledge daylight savings, so we're kind of on. I think we're California time. So if you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead, right? So over this weekend, I was doing a lot of pondering, right? So for those who don't know, I'm engaged. Me and my lady have been together for a little bit of time now, almost 2 years. We're expecting we have a child on the way. Super dope. And for those who don't know, I have a child from a previous relationship. Don't fool with her on any level. Yeah, it's just toxic as it comes. And people might say I'm biased, and it's not because of me. It's not because of me. Again, it's levels to it, but we're not gonna get into the just of that. I'm just gonna, keep it PG right now, because I really want to focus on this topic, and this topic is going to end up becoming a series as well because I feel that these things aren't talked about specifically in our community, especially for like Black men, because I always want to highlight Black men because again we get a lot of scrutiny from people, on many levels when we talk about misogyny, when we talk about being overly sexualized, when we talk about hyper masculinity, whatever that is, that made up term, made up ideology, things of that nature. So today I want to talk about what's called the pressure. I'm going to title it the pressure, and it's going to be the pressure associated with different onsuits of how we conduct ourselves within different capacities, right? So today I want to talk about dating. So the pressures of dating as a Black man, and it can be any man specifically. It can be any man, but I always want to highlight the Black man because, again, we're kings, we're gods, however you want to put it. Grand rising this, grand rising that. At the end of the day, we are who we are. Um, so I really want to touch on that because I feel like it's super important, as I always allude to. If something's important, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to be as authentic as I can be, no filter, and I'm just going to talk my ish, and that's how I've always conducted myself. So for those who know me, know that's what I do. So without further ado, let me get into this episode because time is short and people attention spans are non-existent. So let me get into it. So you're probably thinking like, Kweli, what's the significance of dating? Why did you choose to talk about dating for, the third episode, second episode in terms of getting into the content, outside of the intro video, right? So, you see so much stuff going on in society today. It's always men versus women, men versus women, women versus men. You hear this all the time. It's a ongoing debate on who's wrong and who's right. But let's break it down. Like, why do we have these conversations related to who's wrong, who's right, who's doing what they need to be doing, who is doing what they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, in a sense, right? So let's talk about the traditional versus modern. So traditional, if you don't know, traditional dating was, the man was, he would ask the woman out on a date, he would take her out. Well, actually, he would ask her father, like, hey, I want to take your daughter out. I think she's beautiful, she has a great personality. I want to take her out and get to know her and essentially go through this courting phase, right? We talk about chivalry, letting her know that I value you, so I'm going to invest in you as a person, right? So I'm going to pay for the movies, I'm going to pay for the dinner, I'm going to buy you roses, I'm going to open your car door, I'm going to walk on the outside of you on the street, so you're going to be closer to the building, I'm going to be closer to the curb, all of these onsuits that women say are dead, which is crazy, right? But for the woman, in a sense, the only thing she had to do was be available. You know what I mean? She didn't really have to do much. It was just be available. There was no expectations, no requirements of her to do anything. And this is what happened. I want to say this really came into a full effect after Reconstruction, right? So early 1900s, because in slavery, again, we weren't allowed to get married, and and a lot of plantations were breeding farms, so they literally would find the biggest guy and the most strong and nimble guy, and find again a woman that kind of suited that, and they would mate them so that they can have offspring that could be able to hand and be able to work. So we talk about, again, that's more of a historical thing in a sense. We ain't gonna get into the history of that, but when we talk about the ending the Civil War, 1865, and moving forward, going into Reconstruction, which was the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. That's when we really got into that phase of doing that, right? So that was the essence of what a relationship what it was built off of, and it worked, right? So again, the man proved that he was able to provide, protect, and do the things of that nature to make the woman feel safe and make her feel willing to let him lead the household, right? So what did she do? What was her, after he courted her and made her, because again, women weren't, well, in most cases, I will believe women weren't having sex before marriage. So, in order for him to get the cookie, he had to put in that work, right? So that was the essence of the relationship. So the woman, after he proposed, they got married, jumped the broom, all that good stuff, right? Then he got the cookie, right? But it was still his he was required to still provide and protect and things of that nature, and his masculine nature. And that's something I'm gonna allude to, kind of go on a tangent. And that's what I want to understand moving forward when we talk about men being in their masculine energy, because that's masculine energy. You're going to protect what you feel is yours in a sense. And I'm not saying yours as a possession, but things that you care about in your life, right? Us as men, things that we care about, we protect, we make sure that everyone's good, and we do the things we need to do. And I'm going to kind of shift into that modern type of dating system now. I mean, and once I'm finished wrapping this up. But again, a traditional woman, with him providing those services to her her return or her reciprocity in the piece was, all right, now that he's shown me, he's courted me, he's made me feel like I'm able to do these things. Now her reciprocation was, I'm going to be nurturing, I'm going to be soft, I'm going to be agreeable, and I'm going to basically, provide those essences to keep you strong, keep you willing to do the things that you need to do as a man. Because what a lot of people don't realize, especially a lot of women, is we deal with a lot of shit for real. Like day in and day out, we deal with a lot of shit. The pressure is real. That's why I labeled this title The Pressure, because there's a lot of pressure on us as men to do things and stand out. And if you can't make any excuses, and outside of, you can't make any excuses, if you fuck up, you fuck up. There's no reset button. You're just now labeled as a not good man. So, compared to women where, you can do something and we pamper you, we put you on a pedestal, and we give you, do-overs. Oh, it's just a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna get into that a little bit later too. So, but again, for the sake of conversation, let me stay on point. Let me stay on task, right? So that's what she did. She was submissive. She was soft, very feminine in her energy. She was agreeable, and she allowed him to do what he needs to do as a man. She continued to let him do that, and it worked. Because think about it, a lot of the relationships from the early 1900s, if those people aren't haven't passed on at this point, they still together. We talking 50 years, 60 years, 70-year anniversaries, right? Let alone compared to new age where a relationship only lasts 6 months. I'm done having sex with you, so I'm out of here. We ain't, we not compatible. You just had a nice body, or he had a lot of money, so that was a trade-off. All right, you got a nice body. Oh, you got some money. Okay, cool. That's gonna be we're gonna be transactional in a sense, right? So again, that was a traditional dating style. Now let's get into this modern dating, right? So modern dating is, oh boy, it's just a headache, man. It's a headache. It's again, like I said, I'm 31, right? I'm a 90s baby, early 90s, not anything past 94, because y'all kind of weird. I said what I said, but I'm a 90s baby. And, I grew up in a time where we were getting out of the crack baby epidemic, where, you born in the 80s, you're a crack baby. Sorry, but it is what it is. You are who you are, right? So for me, my mother was born in the early, my mother and father was born in the 70s. So during that time, it was like disco, I'm saying? Ending the disco and getting into hip hop in a sense, hip hop, and it was just a lot going on. So, then those drugs are starting to get introduced. So we talking about drugs, we talking about HIV, with just a lot going on, right? So as things has progressed since that time, where it was more, and and again, every interpretation is different. Some people may agree, some people may not, but it is what it is, right? But we've shifted from, all right, it's black and white, to now it's super gray. Like modern relationships is, we talking about dating in 2022. Women want equal everything of men. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to women having a fair shot, but at the same time, there's just certain things that a woman can't do that a man can't, and vice versa. So when we talk about leading in those roles of gender roles, people don't like gender roles nowadays. Like, all right, a woman, I don't want to cook and clean for him all the time. But it's like in reverse, if you don't want to cook and clean, and you want your man to protect and provide, what if you don't want to protect and provide? Then it becomes an issue, and then the man, he has to deal with the soils of that, because it's expected of him to do that, and that's it's genetically embedded in him to be a protective provider, right? So if we're not getting what we need from our woman, from that, again, I'm gonna say submissive, right? Women hate the word submissive, but submissive doesn't mean that I'm bossing you around. Submissive means that you're being agreeable. You're when you're allowing to man to do what he needs to do, and his nature. His nature is for him to do these things. But when you fight him on that, it kind of throws it off. And when we talk about modern dating is, I heard this woman said this to me the other day. It's just super funny, right? Lady had 3 kids, divorced, and she was dealing with a guy who a little bit older than her, a couple years. He was in his 40s, she was in her early 30s. He had a kid too, and she was like, yeah, I don't. He helped me pay my bills. He does this, he does that. I said, okay, what do you do in return? She was like, nothing. Scared money don't make money. I was like, dog, the Kevin Samuels wanted to come out of me so bad. Like, sis, so you mean to tell me you got 3 kids, you divorced, and you got this guy doing everything, and you're not giving anything in return? I told her myself, I said, yo, if you dated me, you wouldn't get shit from me, fam. Like, for real. She's like, why not? I'm like, what am I getting? You not even giving up the cookie, sis? Nah, sis. Like, and for me, it's interesting because, and again, I'm kind of going like I'm all over the place right now. Let me dial back, right? So let's bring it back, right? So modern dating consists of, it's just all over the place. It's a debacle. There's really no rules to it. There's no setup. There's no foundation. It's just like, all right, I see you. You look nice. I'm gonna give you a chance. We probably gonna have sex that first night, and then after that, we're gonna build things off of what we think are conducive, but 9 times out of 10 is toxic, right? Super toxic. And we're going to build a relationship off of toxicity and then blame each other and stay together because we're creatures of habit, right? So it's like, oh, this relationship is toxic, but now we've been together 5, 6 years and we love each other, but it's a toxic love. So we do little things and we're nitpicky and we don't want to change our ways, but we want our partner to change their ways. And when it's all said and done, no one really wins, or there's tragedy. There's a lot of people dying nowadays because of relationship disputes and spats and quorums, gripes, whatever words you want to use to say there's some tension. These things are happening. And how do we go from, all right, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to show you that you're worthy of me putting you on this pedestal, and in return, you're going to pour into me to keep me going, in a sense. We procreate, we have a family, and we are married, and we are unified. And just a disclaimer or disclosure, sorry. I'm not religious, don't believe in religion. I'm somewhat spiritual. I believe in a higher power. So we'll just put that out there, right? But when we talk religion, for me, is just, it's it just is, I don't know, extortion. That's what I call it. But anywho, there's so many historical things related to religion, and there's a million religions. And if it was only supposed to be one religion, it should be only one religion. But we ain't got to get into that. Anyway, so yeah, so it's just like we go from that to now where, hot girl summers and FNF, whatever you want to call it, the song that's out there. And everybody just trying to get over on everybody. It's like, all right, so I don't get hurt. I'm gonna do this on the side because I don't want that potential of getting hurt. Instead of saying, you know what, let me have my guards up. Let me not do things that are going to put me in a position where I can get hurt, but I can also be dignified at the same time. Like everybody, majority of people, we talking about 80, 90% of people have side people, or they're still entanglements still going on with their old partner. And that's why we're having these epidemics, or not epidemics, endemics. So within the culture, within the community, endemics, right? Because we talk about there's epidemics, endemics, pandemics. Pandemics is worldwide. Epidemics are nationwide. Endemics are, the more you go down the list, the smaller it becomes, right? So we talk about different things, and it's a microbiology thing. So, if you want to look it up, look it up. Yeah, but everybody's so afraid of getting hurt, but everybody is broken. Let that sink in. Modern dating is dating broken. Why is that? Right? Why is that? And there's so many ways to really break it down and go into it. We can say that we got babies having babies, right? So we got these 15, 16-year-olds having babies, and not knowing how to raise them, but their parents had them at 15 and 16. So you got grandmas and grandpas out here in their early 30s, like my mother. My mother didn't have me early, but she had me, what I'm saying? Like my mom had me, she was 20. So, my mom is 20 years older than me. So she's not a baby, but that's still early. Like I had my first kid when I was 24. And even at that time, I wasn't ready. I still didn't have the proper knowledge and all the, things that I needed to be a parent. I don't think you can ever be ready to be a parent, regardless if it's your first or your 12th kid. Like there, parenting changes, all the time. So, but again, for the sake of conversation, let me get back. So, people are dating broken and things of that nature. And again, it comes back on the man. Like the man is still, it's like women say, oh, chivalry is dead. the man don't open doors no more. He ain't paying for dinner no more. All he wants is sex. And it's like, sis, but if we put the hat on, if we shift the narrative back to you, so you mean to tell me you want me to pay for your dinner? You want me to do all these things to show you that treat you like a woman, and treat you like a lady, the Joe song, right? But you still out here exposing yourself, thirst trapping on the gram, doing all these things. It's like, you got to understand, law of attraction is what you put out, you get back, right? So if you out here exposing yourself, you can't expect the dude to be like, all right, I'm finna, man, she a queen over here. Now, some of these dudes out here that's, they kind of weird. They'll do that, oh, queen, you so beautiful. But it's like, bro, if she get with you and she's still doing this, she's allowing men that's creating more drama. Again, that goes back into people getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know if I meet a chick and I'm like, all right, we finna be together. I meet her, she thirst trapping on the IG and I'm with her and she's portraying those same characteristics as we're dating and men are trying to talk to her. Again, it's we talk about the primitive mindset. I have to protect my woman. I have to protect my honor. So now I'm getting into it with people because she's scandalous. Man, what happened on the 5 Heartbeats? JT went to go talk to the chick, got her number. She was at dinner with her dude. What he do? He put the drinks down. I gotta fight every night to prove my love. Every night, bro. At some point, you gotta let the chick go, bro. She doing this every night, my boy. Like, it's something wrong with you, my G. You can't sit here and let somebody do something continuously on a continuous basis and expect it to, one, change, two, keep putting yourself in harm's way, man. You gotta think differently. You gotta go your own way, my boy. You gotta understand, your presence and the essence that you bring to the situation. But again, that's modern dating is trash. Everybody's broken, and they're trying to save someone when they're broken, which doesn't make sense either. And that goes into the women. Women be like, yeah, I can change him. He this way, he that way. And then when you realize you can't change him, oh, he ain't shit. What? So you went into a situation knowing that this dude wasn't, he wasn't the guy that you normally go for, but you gave him a chance, air quoting, gave him a chance. And then when you realize that you couldn't get through to him or make him into what you wanted to make him into, now he ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. N-words ain't, excuse my language, but we being real out here, being authentic, right? Because that's what they say. That's the jargon, the language that's used to express what a man is, right? And I'm gonna put this out here real quick. My men, if you're a black man and or even black men, if any woman, and especially if she white, if she's using this, then she get out. If a woman refers to you as my nigga, that's a problem. That's a problem. You shouldn't be like, you should never lessen yourself as a person to be described in that manner. Don't y'all know that that's what most black people were called before they were lynched or burned at the stake or whatever? What these colonizers were doing, these white supremacists were doing to black people, the last thing they heard for they died is any last word, nigger. And then they killed them. So why would you want to be associated? And I don't want to hear this. We can actually, no, I'm not even going to debate people on this. Don't try to debate me on we reclaim the word. If you reclaim the word, then anybody should be able to use it. And why would you want to reclaim something that has so much negative connotation associated with it? Make it make sense. Just like all the other communities that do that stuff. Yeah, people use this against us, so we're just going to reclaim the word by saying it to each other and make them not want to say it. But then when they say it, you still get upset. So how did you reclaim something when you're still upset? Again, tangent. I tend to do that a lot. But all right, back to the discussion. Yeah, so it's like, bro, you gotta think highly of yourself. You have to have more principle. You have to have more integrity for yourself to not let someone degrade you in that sense, man. I wish my fiance would say that's my nigga. The hell? She crazy, man. She'd be single again like that. And even with her having the baby on the way, all right, you'll be a single mother like that. We ain't going for that. You disrespect me if you crazy. Come on now, let nobody disrespect you like that. And don't get me wrong, like, again, it kind of goes, and again, another tangent, when guys, oh, my nigga this, my nigga that, right? well, how can you say that about your woman, but your guy, if he said, it's levels to it, man. And I be saying stuff to them too, like, man, bro, that ain't me, bro. And if we're gonna call each other that's an issue. I'm calling people out, man. That's an issue. But again, back to the topic at hand. So yeah, traditional versus modern dating is real. Like, women want that traditional feel of being treated like a lady, but they don't conduct themselves in a womanly manner to be given that. But also, let's add one more spin on that, right? Oh, what? Actually, no. I'm gonna add the spin later, right? So traditional versus modern date. So that's the impetus of those two, right? And again, it makes it hard on men because we're held to this standard to this day, but things still aren't reciprocated. We're always expected to give more and get less, which that ain't cool. And that kind of goes into the next topic of discussion for dating. We talk about misogyny and Miss Andrew, right? So a lot of you probably ain't heard Miss Andrew, right? I just heard of this term maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, right? So of course people know what misogyny is. That's what the man treating a woman, being a womanizer, and basically hating women, air quoting, hating women, right? But there's an opposite, right? There's an opposite. This Miss Andrew, and I'm gonna spell it for you, Misandry, right? Miss Andrew is basically the same thing with women treating men like crap, hating men, using their playing the victim, setting men up, you know what I'm saying, things like that, and a lot of these feminists out here, that this is for y'all. This is for y'all. And this Miss Andrew, this is for y'all. Because y'all be trying to drag men like a mug, but y'all want to be a man. Let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. We talk about dating, right? We talk about misogyny or whatnot. And we talk about Miss Andrew. Like, how people will say I'm a misogynist, right? Because I'm more traditional. But that goes back into when we talk about traditional, a woman being soft, being submissive, being feminine, right? Being agreeable. Most people will say that's a misogynist mindset because you want to keep the woman enchained and shackled and underneath you. No, I just want my woman to let me be who I am as a man. If I want to get out here and make this money, what's wrong with that? If I want to, like my fiance, she ain't had no good dude forever. She never, till she met me. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. She'll tell you, every dude that she had before me was trash, right? But even now, it's difficult as a man, like doing stuff, because now when because women have this, I gotta be independent, especially black women. Black women I gotta be independent. And I get it in a sense. I get it. For the longest you've been at the bottom of the barrel, and but you've always been the one to support your man. It's these other women in these other communities that don't really support their men. Now, actually, I'll say Hispanic women support their man. It's mainly just white women. They just so bitter, and don't, they want what do they want? They want notoriety, right? And have never gotten it. So they hate everybody. And again, that's another topic. We talk about the mistress syndrome. We can talk about that. Karen is a subsection of the mistress mindset, right? We talk about back in the slavery time, because back in the slavery time, the mistresses was the one that was so cruel and corrupt, man. Like the master of the house, what I'm saying, he'd be a little lenient because he was having sex with the head house woman, slave or whatnot. But it was the mistress killing the babies because she was so mad. Crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Crazy. But anyway, so going back into it, so it's mainly white women that, like, when we talk about misogyny, they get mad because they want to be held as equal. But it's like, you can't be equal, sis. Like, it don't work like that. And it's all these conversations we talk about, like the NBA versus the WNBA. The NBA players make more than the WNBA. First of all, the WNBA only has 32 games in a season. The NBA has 82, so that's a revenue stream right there. We talk about the entertainment aspect of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love watching women's basketball. Like when I was working at Morgan State University, historically black college in Baltimore, Maryland, I would go to the women's game and the men's game, and I would actually enjoy the women's game more because they be playing, man. They be playing, getting fouls, like, what I'm saying, they be dope with it. Like, I support them, and then the dudes are like, yeah, okay, whatever. But when we talk about advertising, we talk about revenue. Like revenue controls the game. So of course, if I got to pick LeBron James over Sue Bird, I'm going to go see LeBron James. I want to see some dunks. I want to see some alleys. You know what I'm saying? I want to see some cross ups. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that women can't do cross ups, but outside of Brittany Griner and the one chick that just dunked the other day, again, don't even know her name, but you want to see that explosion, you want to see that excitement. So when you're not seeing it, it changes things up. So yeah, but anywho, but we talk about that. It's like it's levels to it. I think they need to understand that. Now, when we talk about the Olympics, like Olympics is different because it's the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should get a fair shot at that. When we talking about here on the soils, like that's like saying the laundry football league should get paid just as much as the NFL. Now, I watched that laundry football league. I ain't gonna lie, I watched that. But you know what I'm saying? And again, we talk about misogyny, that goes back into misogyny. Like, but how can you be upset about misogyny, but at the same time, embrace it? Like, yeah, I'm gonna wear broad panties and wear a helmet and some shoulder pads and run around tackling people. Yeah, we love to see that. But y'all do it. Y'all sexualize yourselves too. Like, come on now, let's be real. Let me dial it back, as far as relationships. Like, how is it okay for a woman to be, to look down on men, not like men, and treat men as basically money, a cash machine, because that's what it is in relationships. It's like, how much money you got? If you ain't got no money, you can't get no cookie, because that's the trade-off. Cookie for the money. So let's be real about it. So are most women prostitutes? Because if a man paying all his money just to get some cookie, that exchange is transactional. But don't nobody want to talk about that. Everybody, like, nah, I ain't no hoe, I ain't no prostitute. But that's what escorts and prostitutes, well, not escorts, they can hang out and not, they'll get paid but not do anything sexual. But if you're doing a sexual act, damn, so that means, so stay-at-home wives, they prostitutes. Dang, dog, that's crazy, right? Stay-at-home wives are prostitutes because they ain't making no money. But they getting a lifestyle that they want. They get to stay at home and they just gotta have sex with their husband. Wow, mine is blown, people. It's crazy, right? But yeah, so I just wanted to introduce y'all to that term because we talk about misogyny. There is an opposite to that, and I feel like women, they embrace misandry more than misogyny is embraced. Because at least with us, we'll still open doors. You still got men out here, but you got a lot of women out here that say men ain't shit and I hate men and men this and men that. They just men haters out here, menonizers, not womanizers, menonizers. Oh, creating words, people. It's real out here. So yeah. So with that, let's get into the next topic. Let's talk about double standards, man. Double standards. I remember I had this conversation with a young lady. This was back in like 2016, 2015, 2016. She was a medical student, and me, I'm finishing my master's or whatever. And we're just having a debate on double standards. And it's like everybody always talking about how a man can go sleep with a lot of women and he's praised for it, but if a woman sleeps with a lot of men, she's a hoe, right? Now that's true. But thing about it is, we talk about what people value. A woman will be with a man who has a huge body count because in her mind, he's good at what he does. Then he should be, pretty good at, his technique, his craft. He's mastered it. He has a lot of repetition, but a man is thinking longevity. If a woman slept with a lot of men, yeah, it's like, it's been a lot going on in there, man. And again, it could be, like, again, it's more of a self-conscious thing. But everybody talks about the Lil Durk and his lady. Reason why he wifed her up because she can count on one hand how many people she's been with, compared to the chick who, all she know is the bottom of her feet. I said what I said. So it's real out here, But there's so many other things we talk about dating. Like I said, we talk about double standards. So it's okay. Like, and this debate has been going on for a while. I've been hearing on different podcasts, different shows. We talk about being masculine, hypermasculinity, which I said is a joke. Hypermasculinity, masculinity compared to a woman being soft, right? So, again, gender roles, going back to double standards, right? So women withholding sex from men. Well, you ain't do this, you ain't doing that, so I ain't giving you no sex. But if the man turn around and say, you know what, you're not giving me sex, I'm not gonna pay the bills. I'm not gonna. If somebody knocking on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, you get your ass up and go answer the door. And then if it jump off, it jump off. You hold it down until I get there. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how these double standards come into play when we talk about relationships. Like, why do women feel it's okay for them to turn it on, turn it off? Like, don't get me wrong, I get y'all. Chemically, sometimes your body is just not there. Y'all, you're not feeling it. It's that time of the month, whatever the case may be. But then how can you get mad at a man for wanting to venture out and do other things? Like, men, like, I don't think y'all women understand. Us men, if we could have sex 5 times a day, we will have sex 5 times a day. If you able to do that. I ain't gonna get into me because I'm a sniper, but it's gonna be a hot minute, you know what I mean? But we ain't gonna get into all that. But yeah, but if a man could have sex with you 5 times a day, he would, because that's just how we're programmed. Especially like if he's really into you and he loves you and he loves your body, like he's gonna want to be touching you up on you all the time. Like that's just how we are. Think about it. Like you seen dogs, man, the little pink thing come out all the damn time. It ain't even gotta be nobody around. They just want to hump all day. Rabbits hump all day. The male species, what we do, we like to hump. We like to procreate. We like to have sex. Now you got some women that's out there like that. Hey, more power to you, sis. We appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? But for the women out there to be like, not this week, not next week, not this month. You expect your man not to cheat? That's a serious question. You expect your man not to cheat? Like, we're creatures of affection. Like, men love affection. Rather y'all know it or not, we love affection, especially in a relationship. But when we agree to be monogamous with you, we expecting to get on demand. Like, all right, man, bust it wide open, man. Come on. Hey, I just got home from work. Come on. All right, cool. I'm about to be ready to go to work. Come on. Okay, cool. Hey, we just ate lunch. All right, cool. Let's go home. Let's get it in. Whatever. Bossy. So how can you tell a man no to that, but then expect him to come through on his end with what he needs to do? So what if he say, you know what, I ain't really, I don't feel like paying the rent this month. We're gonna have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Or y'all go out to dinner and you ain't got no, say you don't make enough money, y'all go to a fancy restaurant. Yeah, I don't feel like paying for your food today. I'm gonna pay for mine, but I ain't gonna pay for your. Like, we'll be like a no good dude. We'll, you know what I'm saying? We'll be a bum, a buster. So many things will come into, you know what I'm saying, existence in terms of us being scrutinized if we don't uphold that standard. But y'all can do withhold the one thing that we value the most. You know what I'm saying? And again, we're simple creatures, but y'all make it so difficult. It's just crazy. So that's one example. Women withholding sex and men withholding being a provider in a sense, right? Because again, a lot of this is transactional. A lot of the time, like, women don't want to admit it, but men, honestly, all men want is sex. Like, we'll love you, we'll love on you, we'll be loyal, but the one thing that keeps things afloat is sex. Keep us, sex and food. Keep us, well, not even food as much. Like, we can feed ourselves, but the one thing we can't get from ourselves is that, and that's what one thing we won't. So of course we're gonna do what we can to get it. That's why you think about it. Most men who have money, like we talk about those high earners or high value men, those dudes, they don't get married. And if they do, they cheating. Because 9 to 10, their wife not giving them what they want. Simple as that. I'll be honest myself. Like, I've thought about it on occasions. I've talked to my lady about it. Like, hey, this ain't happening enough. Like, hey, I be thinking about stepping out, but it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get too personal because that's just what it is. But all men have these feelings. All men think about this from time to time. But women need to get with the program. Y'all can't expect us to do all these things. And then let's to that point too. If you ask a man, what does he want from a woman? A woman that's loyal, not even loyal, a woman that's submissive, soft, feminine, and allows him to be a man. Those 4 things. He ain't talking about cooking, clean, all that stuff, because that comes with the territory. If you're not getting that from your woman, you need to be with her, bro. If she's not doing those things, you don't need to be with her. But y'all be wanting to, he got to be 6 foot, he got to make 6 figures, he got to be emotionally intelligent, he got to be able to fix everything around the house, he got to be a great dad. Like, it be a laundry list of 100 things that y'all be putting out there on this. It's crazy. But then it's like, all the stuff y'all want us to do, y'all can't do a third of it. Come on now, like, these double standards are real, and I see why modern dating is the way it is. It's very transactional, because at the end of the day, y'all want so much for us. We know we can't provide that because it's like it's impossible. But we only get the bare minimum from you, so we gonna match that energy. All right, sis, you just giving me some box here and there. All right, cool. I'm gonna take you on a day here and there, or you're not gonna get the ring. You're not gonna get married, because rather women say it or not, most women want to get married. So you're not gonna get married until you start doing the things that make your man feel comfortable enough to ask you to marry him, unless you're gonna ask him to marry you. But again, double standard. I ain't asking no man to marry me, but you want to be traditional, but you don't want to be traditional. Make it make sense. You want your man to propose to you, but you want to be the breadwinner. You want to be the head of the household. Make that make sense. Don't worry, I'll wait. And again, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. Mindsets are all over the place right now. It just doesn't make sense, right? So as I get ready to wrap this episode up, as far as dating, the pressure of dating for men, you know, all I gotta say is, if you try to have hot girl summers all the time, if you drinking all the time, like, unless the guy is okay with that, most men don't want that. He want him a nice little, again, agreeable, safe, saying, more wholesome women. Like, if you're not a host, like, think about it. There's more women than men out here in the world. We talk about men, women outnumber men. I think it's like 3-1 or 4-1, right? So we have options. You don't have options. Then you got to think about that as far as y'all outweighing us. Then you got to worry about, if we talk about a homosexual relationship. So that cuts your numbers even more, cuts it more in half, or by a percentage. So now it's slim picking. So if you got a good dude, hey, you better get with the program, because men control the narrative. Rather, women think, oh, I got the cookie. You know what I'm saying? If I don't give him the cookie, okay, somebody else will. Somebody else gonna rub his feet. Somebody else gonna rub his back. Somebody else is gonna pour into his ego. Someone's gonna cook for him. Someone's gonna clean, make a house a home. Like, women ain't doing, man. I'm tired of seeing these blow up beds on social media, and you saying you a good woman, but you ride good D. Like, TikTok be exposing these chicks out here. Whole house be dirty. You got kids in the background crying with one sock on, a diaper on, no man in the house, but you promoting that you ride good D. Come on, sis. You look stupid, you sound stupid, and if that's all you promoting, that's all you're gonna get. You're gonna ride some good D and still be a single mother out here looking crazy. So get with the program. Men are the ones who control marriage. Men are the ones who bring, substance to the relationship, in the sense of, I'm going to bring logical thinking. And I'm not saying women can't be logical, but a lot of women think out of emotion. So with them thinking out of emotion, it may not make sense. I feel like, okay, what do you know? I don't care what you feel. What do you know? Is this factual? Let's be real. So I know a lot of women, when they hear this episode, they probably gonna be mad at me, but I don't care. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because at the end of the day, for the longest, like, y'all can critique and criticize men all day, every day, and we just supposed to deal with it. And we got the skin for it. Most of us do. Most of us got the skin for it, because we've been trained from an early age. Don't cry, don't show no emotion, right? Then that kind of goes into the other thing is, men ain't emotionally available. How can we be? When we want to talk to you about our problems, don't nobody want to listen. It's a problem. Oh, you being emotional, you being a beta. Oh, that's another thing. Beta and alpha men, but that's for another story for another time. We talk about when we get into the mental health aspect of dating for men. We'll get into that. But for the sake of this, men aren't allowed to be themselves. It's just, I don't understand how people expect for things to get better, or you're gonna tap the line, or thread the needle of things based on trying to incorporate all things. Like, this gray matter, it ain't working. It ain't working. And that's why you got more divorces than anything nowadays. Women, they initiate divorce 80% of the time compared to men. And I know there's reasons for that. Alimony, child support, all that stuff, right? That plays a big part in it. And yeah, so let's just be real. Dating for men is not impossible, but it's very tough, because women make it difficult because they got these laundry lists, but they're not really trying to reciprocate any of the energy. They want traditional men, but they want to have modern lifestyles, and it just don't work like that. I said what I said. It is what it is. And if y'all really want to move to that level of being in a conducive relationship, in a heartfelt relationship, you gotta figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, somebody else will. And you'll be sitting there on Love and Hip Hop talking crazy. And I use that analogy a lot because it's real, man. I can't get with it. But again, that was episode 3, great people. It was fun talking. And again, a lot of this stuff is my opinion. So you ain't got to take it for face value. But if you get emotional about it, that's on you. Like at the end of the day, I'm in freedom of speech. I can talk my ish. So, that's just what it is. So hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you felt like if you want to tune in with me, by all means, you can DM me on IG. I'll post that link in the bio. You can DM me on there, and we can get you on this. We can get you on the podcast. We can have our little discussion, little debate. It's gonna be healthy because respect is huge. I give respect, but I expect it in return. As long as we do that, we're gonna be good, and we can talk all day about this topic because it'll never end. It's gonna be forever going. So, with that being said, again, appreciate y'all. Many blessings, and Godspeed to you, much safety to you, because it's real out here. People dying left and right, and it's just madness. So protect yourself, protect your loved ones, and do what you need to do on that end, and just keep being strong, and keep self-reflecting and building on yourself. That's all you really can do in this day and age. But with that being said, this is Non-Stop Playing Podcast. I'm your host, Kwali, and I'll be back with another one. So stay tuned. Y'all take care.